Everyone, welcome to the Jay and Jack Show. My name is Jay.
I don't know.
You give up?
I give up.
From Raleigh, North Carolina, it's the Jay and Jack Show. Starring Jay and Jack. With special guest Melody Simpson. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Jack, I'm sure you have been enjoying the bonus content that we've been putting out.
It has been
there.
amazing. I mean, I do like the best one. Actually, the best podcaster on the network right now of all the we have like 10 or 11, 12, 13 podcasters. I mean, there's some amazing talent.
Absolutely.
And in this group.
Yeah.
But it's Bun Patty Bun is my favorite podcaster because he's real.
It's genuine.
There's no crap. There's no hiding his emotion. He just lays it on the line. If his team loses, he feels it. He's like me in 2006-07 season when the San Diego Chargers lost to the Patriots.
And Jack's talking about Zach, your grandson, my son. He has gotten into podcasting this year. He did it with me. And he wanted to do one with his mommy, so they're doing a challenge cast. It's Zach's favorite part about Survivor.
Which one do you do with you?
The third episode of Jay and Jack Show. He opened it and closed the Chip Mims one.
Oh, okay.
But
that's my favorite.
But for each show on our network right now is doing bonus episodes. For Survivor, Colleen and Zach, it's a really quick show. It's at most maybe 5 minutes or whatever.
No, this last one was 6.5 minutes.
Yeah. So this most recent episode, Zach, he picks a team that he wants to win the challenge in Survivor, and this was the first time the one he picked lost.
It's a rough listen.
Yeah,
because like I said, the raw emotion. You just feel. It's almost like the Afterlife with Ricky Gervais. It's almost the same situation where you feel so bad for him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, Bun Patty Bun. I feel so bad for you. And he almost didn't go on. He almost quits at one point, but Colleen drags him back in and he sucks it up, which is a sign of a good podcaster. Because how many times have people pod faded?
True,
and just said, forget it, I'm out, I'm done, or just walked away, or get fired by Ralph.
True.
So
one or two options.
Yeah. So if you hang around long enough, but again, we have like 12 podcasts. I'm trying to think of all the podcasters we have in the group, but there's a lot.
Yeah.
On the Jay and Jack Network.
You might have some grandparent bias though.
No, he's the best.
Oh, okay. Right.
Absolute best.
But
Bun Patty Bun.
For our patrons that give $5 or more a month, we are doing bonus episodes. We had the first Jay and Jack bonus episode a couple weeks ago, and for the Jay and Jack Show, we record longer than what you hear on the show. I try to edit it down to about an hour, but I think there's still good stuff in there that doesn't make it into the final show, so what this allows us to do is to show you some stuff that maybe you didn't hear. Maybe get behind the scenes a little bit, extra content from our special guests, and we had our first one a couple weeks ago. So definitely check that out. Broadcast had their bonus episode. The Ramblecast After Dark is doing one every 3 times a month.
3 times a month, yes. We don't intro it.
Yeah, it's kind of. I think it's the weakest out of the bonuses because you guys literally put no effort whatsoever. But
what are you talking about?
You have the most of them.
I'm sorry. The one we did with when we talked about Robert Kraft. Robert Kraft. I thought was the best 20 minutes of podcasting the RCAD has done all year.
Well, then do a good intro. It's just like you get dropped in like a newborn baby being thrown into the wilderness.
That's what the group decided. I was like, hey, because Nick plays a original song every week.
Yeah.
And I said, what, no song is? No. And then Chris goes, no, we're just going to go right into it. I go, all right, okay. I've only been podcasting for 14 years. Do what you guys want.
Don't ask my opinion.
Yeah, no. My grandson's the best podcaster on here. It's not like there's a bloodline or, talent here. But go ahead and do what you want.
No legacy or anything.
Yeah, that's it. I have an award. It's okay. But I don't like to throw that in anybody's face.
No, not at all. No.
So
keep it on the down low.
You know me. I'm not a fighter. I'm a lover.
Sure. Pacifist.
Jerks.
But again, check that out. If you aren't a patron yet that gives $5 more a month, I think it's well worth it. We're putting some really fun stuff out there for the patrons because you all make this all of our shows possible, and this is, I think, a fun way to thank you for that. All right. Today, our guest is Melody Simpson, up-and-coming author and longtime listener show, friend of the show, and excited to have her on to kind of pick her brain about what it takes to become an author, to be a writer.
I bet you it's hard.
I mean, just listening to her story, it is hard.
We've already heard the story? Okay.
Yeah. But are you trying to play it as...
I was trying to play it like we hadn't heard of it. Yeah, listening to her, I would wonder how many people have tried it and just got discouraged.
Yeah.
Because I remember when she was talking about it, I remember when we interviewed Patrick Labateau and from JAG and Little House of Prairie and all the different stuff. And he used to say he still goes on auditions, even though he has this long resume.
Yeah.
Because he went for Phil on Modern Family, remember? Yeah. And Ty Burrell. Ty Burrell?
Yeah, Ty Burrell got it.
He got it, which was probably the better choice.
Yeah.
And I said, well, how do you handle rejection? He goes, it's just part of my job.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother me. I go, God. For me personally, the first rejection would be like, all right, I'm done. I'm out of here.
So we hope you'll enjoy the conversation as much as we did. So why don't we let that conversation take it away?
Go.
All right, and with us today we have Melody Simpson, a blogger from Hollywood the Right Way, as well as author, recently backed anthology series Betty Bites Back, as well as I'm sure many more things coming out, which will be pretty awesome. Do you want to share kind of what is coming up?
Yeah, sure. So yes, Betty Bites Back is the feminist horror anthology that's coming out in October, although for those who backed it, it's coming out in June. And that is actually edited by Edgar Award-winning author Mindy McGinnis, one of my favorite authors, Demetria Lunetta, and one of the most unique storytellers I know, Kate Carius Quinn. And so my story is set in a future, not an alternate future, but just a future. It's called The Guardrail Disappears, and the entire story is in an autonomous vehicle between a mother and a daughter on a road trip. So that's coming out pretty soon.
Cool. Yeah, and Colleen and I, Colleen, she's the book nerd, so my book is through her, but we backed that one, so we're excited to get that one.
Thank you guys so much. And then I've got a few other things in the limelight that me and my agent are talking about and getting ready to get fixed up. One of them is, I don't want to talk too much about it, but
just a little tease, a little teaser out there.
And it's set in a world where virtues are tangible things. So that's coming up too.
Ooh, very cool. You've gone to San Diego Comic-Con a few times,
right?
Yeah,
for sure.
So we all, Colleen and I, we go every year. Jack goes every year too. But for me, I like the action figures, the toys. And Melody, you're on video chat. So you can kind of see the ridiculous that is my toy collection. But
that's just some of it.
But Colleen, hers is the books, and especially YA novels. And she'll go to the book section, and her goal is to come home with like a suitcase of books from the Comic-Con book section. I don't know if you have a similar hunt as well when you're there.
I definitely, it's changed over the years because my dad is a comic book artist. So I've been going to cons for my whole life.
Oh, awesome.
But I haven't really, it wasn't until about 2005 that I started going to actually enjoy it and not sit behind Artist Alley all day. So the first few years that I went like as an individual, I got caught up in the celebrities that were there, and it wasn't as crazy as it is now. But I got caught up in that. And then a few years I had a phase when I was really addicted to voice actors. So I went to all those panels. And the last 2 years, I've just been going for the book people. But yeah, I've kind of grown out of the sleeping outside Hall H thing.
I think everybody has, you know, like
yeah.
There comes this like point, because I think I've been to 14 or so San Diego Comic-Cons in a row. But there was maybe like 5 years ago or something where it's like, I'm done.
They're like, I'm over this.
Yeah, I can't do this anymore.
Yep.
And maybe it coincided with, you know, having kids and just being tired all the time. Anyway, but
you get older.
You get older. And just like,
But I shouldn't say that, because there are older people in those lines. So.
There are. Well, like, but I think they're fairly organized. One of our friends, Jim Watari, is part of a group, and they kind of rotate camping out, essentially.
Oh, see, that would be helpful, but it's funny because I have two sisters. One of them isn't really into all this, and the other one, she kind of is, but she doesn't want to wait in line and do the whole. She'd rather she just doesn't want to wait around. I completely understand. But long story short, they both don't go. I'm the only one who goes. I'm always going to these things by myself.
Oh well,
I can't tag team with anyone.
We need to add you to, because it's a group. It's like a Facebook group. We need to add you to the group so you can have a tribe to hang out with of us nerds. Yeah, and it's. But I feel, and I don't know. I'm curious your opinion on this, but I feel like it's been a little bit more chill the past couple years. Like it's been easier to get into panels.
I've noticed that since they changed the badges or whatever. I feel like since they did that, it's been so much less people and way more relaxed and just amazing.
Yeah, because there was like even, what was it, last year or the year before, like we ran into Hall H to see something, and like we just go in and then we like ran.
Isn't that insane?
Yeah, which is how it used to be, but
well, didn't they eliminate some of the big name?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. A few of the networks didn't come, so that helped.
Yeah, because there's like because now like everybody kind of has their own. There's like D23, Star Wars Celebration. So I think as more studios make their own thing, it might make San Diego Comic-Con a bit more chill, just a little bit more chill.
Yeah, for sure. I hope
There's
so.
Still a lot of people there.
There's still a lot of people.
It is.
And you live in LA, right?
I live in LA now, but I'm from New Jersey.
Oh, Jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah, my wife's a Long Islander, so I know your people.
Yeah. And when I tell people out here that are either from LA or just from the West Coast, they're like, "You don't sound like Snooki." I'm like, "Oh my God, please don't say that." It's so annoying. So annoying.
Yeah, it's interesting, the dynamic for like SoCalers versus like Northeasterners or tri-state area.
Yeah,
because I feel like, you know, or at least for Colleen and I, we're almost like stereotypes, where I'm very laid back, like, it'll be fine, and Colleen's like, no, it needs to get done now. But anyway, so you can't really reveal too much about what's down the pike, maybe. But what I thought, you know, our listeners might really like to hear is just going from like a spying writer, or your journey. Like, you had a really awesome post on your blog about when you got on your first agency, I believe.
Oh, yes.
But you know, I think there's a lot of people out there that have an idea or want to get into this field. What I really liked about that post is just showing, like, it's not just you just flip a switch and it happens. But maybe kind of sharing a part of your journey to maybe somebody listening at home that maybe has an idea or wants to become a published author one day. But I was hoping maybe you could tell us a little bit about your story.
Yeah, so my goal is to be traditionally published, and when you want to become traditionally published, you have to write up a pitch to an agent, and that pitch would be called a query. And then you query a bunch of agents. Most of the time, they say, no, I don't want it. If they respond at all, and if they do respond saying, no, I don't want it, it's a form rejection. So it's the same rejection that everybody's getting.
Yeah.
If they don't really want it, but they want to let you know that it had potential, they'll let you know with a personalization in the rejection, which is nice because at least you know you're getting through to somebody.
Yeah.
And so I queried my first novel in 2012.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, no, I didn't query it. I wrote the first novel that I queried in 2012. Between October 2012 to January 2013, I wrote it, wrote and revised it, and then I queried it. After entering a few contests and getting it out there so that I could see if it had any traction at all. And I only queried about 40 agents, which is on the low end. Some people have a goal to query 100 agents and then they'll go to the next project.
Yeah.
I just did 40 because I I just wanted to see what the reception was going to be.
Yeah.
And then after that, I was like, okay, this is not working for me. So let me work on another story that I have in mind. Because I already, at that point, I knew there was something in the novel that I needed to fix. So I said, let me put that aside until I can figure it out and work on the next
story.
Do
any give feedback in that process, or is it really just like, no? And then like, how do you know that something needs to be fixed, or just getting all these no's is kind of like, all right, I need to fix something?
The thing was, it was all no's. If they like it, they'll ask if they like your pitch and maybe the first 5 pages that you put on the bottom of the email, then they'll ask for more.
Yeah.
So that's how you know at least the words that they're seeing are good. Nobody was asking for more of the novel. So I was like, okay, well, and some of the personalizations that I got were, okay, this is a really good concept, but you're not there yet.
Okay.
So having that in mind, I knew there was something that I needed to do. I just couldn't figure it out. Now I know I had no plot, but really good at world building, really good at making great characters, but the plot sucked. So
how do you pivot from that? Like,
well,
is there like a plot camp you can just go and just
3 times and still didn't get it right? But that's the story that I'm working on with my agent now.
Okay.
So I didn't toss it aside. I didn't trunk it or anything like that.
Yeah.
The stories that I write, I'm gonna get them out there. And I kind of do that in a sense of if I don't. Every writer's different. So some writers write the whole book and they'll write a dozen books and they'll chunk them all as like practice, which is great. I think you should definitely do that. But if that's the path for you, but every writer's different. Like if I'm writing a story and I know 40 pages in this isn't going to work, then I'm not going to keep going.
Yeah.
So that was enough practice for me. I should, if I decide to stop, I should learn something from that and then I can move on. Yeah. That's how I work. So eventually I'll get it right. But then I just put that aside for a while. And then I worked on a different story. And at that point, I was actually interning for the Ben agency. And that was a real eye-opening moment because interning, you get to see, well, I don't want to say all interns, but many literary interns get to read the pitches, the queries that they are getting. And they get to read the pages. For me, I was reading all of the pages that the agent that I interned for requested. And I would fill out a reader's report saying what worked and what didn't in the novel. And basically what you're looking for is why should that agent sign that author as a client? What makes this book a, I don't know, $10,000 book advance? You know, that's the kind of thing you have to think about. So getting to see, is that kind of like the goal, like some type of advance like that, like a $10,000 advance? I don't know. Like, is that like a book deal or something? Throwing that out. The advances can be anywhere. The advances could be $5,000 or it could be 6 figures. You never know. Okay. So, but basically, what would make the agent want to read this book a million times and work it out with you in order to send it to the publisher and say, hey, I've got this thing that you should buy. Basically, is it worth it? Yeah. And a lot of the books that I enjoyed weren't necessarily the books that the agent that I interned for wanted to push for. But there was one. And so that's in the background. I got to see why certain things worked and why certain things didn't.
Yeah.
So then when I queried the second novel, I had a lot more knowledge than I did the first time around, and I got a lot more. I actually got requests this time.
Nice. What were some of those things then what were some of the things that you found when you were kind of looking through it yourself?
This was a different. I'm trying to see how much I should say about this story. Well, okay, so this story was a lot different because it's told between the points of view of a girl who was killed and her killer.
Mm-hmm.
And it was more dynamic and interesting, and it had a plot. So maybe that's why. But my writing got a lot stronger because in between that time of writing that first and second book that I ended up querying, I researched a lot about the craft of writing.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people who want to write a book one day, they're like, oh, okay, so how do I get published? But they haven't even written a book yet.
Yeah.
They haven't even figured out how to write a good book.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think I was jumping the gun. I said, okay, I need to take a step back and figure out how to world build, how to create character dynamics that create emotional resonance, stuff like that. So that was why it was night and day, basically.
Are there like good books that help with that? Like if there's somebody out there that like wants to get started, is there like a good, helping guide out there, or is it kind of a culmination of a lot of different things?
Well, at that time I was reading a lot of craft blogs like Publishing Crawl and Writer Unbox, and Chuck Wendig has really great. He's not everybody's cup of tea, but he's great for me. Like I needed that kind of kick in the butt advice.
Yeah.
I also Beth Revis, who's a sci-fi writer. She has great advice. Janice Harding, YA Highway was a great website. It's now defunct, but if you just go through the website, so much stuff. Brandon Sanderson, he has writing classes that people record and they're on YouTube.
Oh, cool.
So, which is crazy. But as far as like books go, I would say John Truby's The Anatomy of Story, and I mean that's kind of complex for a new writer, but I think it's still a good book to have to help you out for sure.
Nice. Awesome. Because Jack is, I don't know if you know, but he's been working on a story for a long time about, what is it called again? Your Western?
Oh, the Pleasure Ranch.
Yeah, Pleasure Ranch.
Oh my goodness, that sounds amazing.
I think it's a script treatment right now, but is it one page? How many pages have you written?
I'm done.
It's finished? It's finished. Legit? How many pages is it?
I don't remember, but it added up to it for an hour episode. It had the corrected amount of pages.
Okay.
I looked it up.
Well, Jack has not felt comfortable letting anybody see it yet.
No, I've shown it to people.
One day, one step at a time.
Well, the deal was I had to finish it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
I did.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Okay, yeah.
It's
people
gold,
don't know how to finish things, so that in itself is an accomplishment.
No, I had the middle, I had the beginning, and I had it was all the stuff in between.
Mm-hmm.
The dialogue, the
the words.
The word. Well, trying to make the story, you have to make it, stretch out for 43 minutes, whatever it is. So you have to make it stretch out. So it's like,
and make it all compelling. It's hard.
Exactly. It's tough.
All right. So for you went to your story craft and really worked on developing the plot. So was that kind of, and you said you actually got feedback on that when you queried the second one, right?
A lot of great feedback, a lot of full requests. Sometimes if they're all in, they'll say, okay, send me the whole manuscript. But if they still are a little iffy about it, they'll say, just send me half of it, which is called a partial.
Mm-hmm. And
so I got all kinds of requests. But in the end, I did come close. But in the end, that one was still a pass. So at that point, I just got really frustrated because I had actually gotten really close.
Yeah.
Time, and I was upset.
So I would be like to
take
be
a little break.
Yeah, to be close.
But doesn't that give you the motivation to keep going, though? Knowing
that
you're so
I took
close.
A break because I didn't know how to get over that. defeat. And so ended up one day reading actually in Essence magazine. It was a random day. I read in Essence magazine. It had Issa Rae and about 4 other Black women on the cover, all creative TV creatives. Mm-hmm. And I was just blown away by, for some reason, it just hit me that I could be one of them, but not even that there's so many people who came before them. Mm-hmm. And then I just kept snowballing, and I started doing research on the women and more other women. And I ended up writing, not even trying to, mm-hmm. but I ended up writing what would become a proposal for a book about a pop culture book about the history of Black women on television. And that's the book that ended up getting me a literary agent.
That's awesome.
I wasn't even trying to do that. And of course, the one that I didn't expect is the one that got me where I am.
Yeah. That's cool. I mean,
you got to get your foot in the door.
And yeah. A lot of conversations that we have with people, whether actors or other podcasters, whatever it is, but there's always the thing that you didn't think was even going to be a thing ended up being the thing that took you to some crazy journey, so that's awesome.
Yeah, that was interesting because I don't remember when I queried it, but I think it was 2006 to 2017, or it was definitely 2017.
Yeah.
Because that's when I got the agent at the end of the year. Mm-hmm. But at the beginning of the year, I was querying, and I got basically everybody that I queried wanted to read more, which I knew I had something there because that had never happened. Then I got one R&R, which is a revise and resubmit. Actually, no, well, the one that I did get, she had so many notes, and she wanted me to revise quite a lot to basically, an R&R basically is kind of like a test. Like, can you revise a book, and can you do it well? Can you listen to directions?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you don't have to take every note that they say, but to be able to incorporate something, that's basically, do I want to take you on as a client? So when you get an R&R, you're close.
Yeah.
You don't have to get an R&R. You can just go straight to the agent offering representation. But for me, an R&R was what I got.
Yeah.
And so I did that, and I sent it off to her. And in the meantime, I told my friend, Susan Dennard, that I was working on this. I asked her to read my query and stuff just to make sure it was all right. Yeah. Just in case the R&R didn't work out, I wanted to continue querying.
Yeah.
And she said, "Oh, this is great, but can I send this off to my agent?" And I'm like, well, okay, that's a little nerve-wracking because you're you and I'm me, and you don't have to do that. But wow, okay, I'll definitely take you up on that. And so it turned out her agent was on maternity leave, but she passed it around the office, and another agent jumped on that, and she offered. And then another, and then I told the agent that had the R&R that I got an offer, and then she offered.
Oh, wow.
So I got 2 offers, and then I also spoke to another agent who wanted to offer, but also had some thoughts. And so that was very interesting and awesome at the same time. So I had a lot to think about.
Did you try to get them in a bidding war or something for you? Like, listen, there's a lot of people interested in me right now.
Well, it felt crazy because the agencies that requested are 2 very different agencies. They have very different tones, I should say.
Okay.
And so basically what it came down to was that they're both really good agencies, but which one has a track record for building a career that I want.
Yeah.
And I saw that the most with New Leaf, which is the agency that I'm with. So I went with New Leaf, which is the agency that offered first. And we're working on a lot of stuff.
That's awesome.
That's great.
And it's cool to talk to you kind of like while everything's percolating. Everything's kind of like building up to this point, which has got to be an exciting time.
It's very exciting and nerve-wracking and stressful. Yeah, I was going to say, is it stressful?
But you're glad you stuck with it.
But you're glad you stuck with it. Yeah.
But all exciting.
Yeah.
All
I'm so happy to have stayed this far in the game.
Well, because if you think about it, like how a lot of people don't make it that far, you know, and how many people like give up on it along the way. So it's awesome that you are in this place.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't, I've wanted to become a published author since I was 6, 7 years old. So I really couldn't see. I went to school a little bit for creative writing.
Mm-hmm.
I was on, the newspaper at school and any kind of way I could. I did a little, my high school journalism teacher, without me knowing, he nominated me to be in, it's not a thing anymore, but it was called the ACL Moore program at the Philadelphia Inquirer. It was a little no, it was actually during school, a fall internship. So I did that for a little while, which was so gracious of him. It was for diverse writers, and he thought of me. And at the time, I was, I believe, the youngest person in his class. I graduated a year early from high school, so I don't remember what year in particular it was. But that was a great moment to have, because you don't often get those kind of teachers who push for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I know that was a long time ago, but you remember those kinds of things,
Absolutely. Yeah, because you remember those special teachers, like those teachers and then you remember the ones that were awful. But it's but there are those special ones that you look back on fondly. We're going to take a quick moment for a commercial break. We'll be right back. But like, it's so cool that like how many people out there when they were 6 had their dream job or whatever, and it's awesome that you're one of maybe probably like 1% of those 6-year-old kids that actually getting to do 1%. This. So
it's probably lower than that.
Yeah, it probably is. If I have to go back to like 6, I think I was like veterinarian, because I really like turtles and I wanted to like take care of turtles.
Astronaut.
Astronaut?
Yep.
Yeah, for you. Sorry.
I mean, I did have a phase when I wanted to be the Black Britney Spears, but let's not talk about that.
Did you see? Is she still in Vegas, Britney Spears? Or no, it's Gaga now.
No, I think Gaga took her place.
Yeah.
Or is taking it. I don't know.
Or is in there. It's kind of crazy how like Vegas shifted from like where careers went to die to now like the biggest artists have residencies there.
It's wild.
Yeah. It's kind of cool.
Well, Vegas turned around too.
Yeah.
Vegas at one point was dying.
Yeah.
Back in the 70s, 80s, it was
a little seedy, maybe.
Yeah. But well, it was. They changed the whole concept. They made it a family type thing.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
Ruined it for everybody.
Ruined it for some people, Jack.
I'm just saying.
I'm not
now you got to bring there,
but so Melody, we know you from our the Lost community and our Lost podcast. And of course, assumingly you are a Lost fan.
I am a huge Lost fan. Huge fan of the podcast. This was one of the first 2 podcasts that I ever subscribed to back in 2008. So it's a pretty crazy moment to be on a show with you guys. It's pretty full circle.
That was your goal when you were 7. It was like 6 riders, 7 on the Jay and Jack show. No.
We rejected you like 5 times.
Yeah, it was you threw a couple queries out there like, not yet. Give it some time now. But isn't it weird how like 2008 is over a decade ago? That's weird. That feels weird.
Yeah, I don't like thinking about that.
Yeah,
it feels like yesterday.
And Lost was almost on
9 years
10 years ago. Yeah, 9 years ago this year. The finale, which is crazy.
People are still complaining about it.
They are. Where do you stand on the finale? You liked it, or you kind of
I liked it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're watching a show called Lost. They're not hiding anything. They're telling you that you're going to be a little confused. So my feeling is I'm satisfied.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the attitude to have.
So it's almost been a decade since it went off the air, had its finale.
My gosh.
Do do you envision some type of reboot or continuation or something coming up? Because it's just as a content creator yourself, you probably see how things just keep getting regurgitated over and over again. Maybe that's frustrating for you as an original content creator, but do you see Lost being part of that? It's a property. It's Disney. They're gonna get their money out of it.
I wouldn't mind, because then we would have you guys back.
That's true.
To break it down, and then I could really get into it,
Well, maybe Jay, I'm holding out.
Yeah, Jack's holding out for a better deal. So we'll see.
Maybe Ryan and Jen will take me on then. We can be Ryan, Jen, and Jack.
Yeah, I feel like not everything needs to be rebooted. But it, like you said, it's been a decade.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe in another decade. No, I'm just kidding. maybe another 5 years, I'll be okay with it.
It's going to be tough. I mean, there have been shows that done it. You looked at Breaking Bad; they had Better Call Saul. Mm-hmm. That's worked.
Yeah, Better Call Saul's worked.
Yeah, it has.
BSG worked.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes, for sure. Well, BSG but not the last season, but
yeah.
Even Magnum PI, I was said I would not watch it.
Yeah, but that's kind of CBS.
But I got to be honest though, I'm watching it and I like it.
Yeah, because you're the target demographic, old.
I get that, but
white dude.
But I wasn't the target when Magnum first came on. I was a kid.
That's what I'm saying. They got you again. They got you as an 80s
kid. But I swore I would never watch it. I said, I'm not watching
as an old man.
I'm not watching it. And then I started watching. I go, all right, it's not bad. I like it.
So you review TV and movies on your blog, right?
Yeah. Yes.
What was your thoughts on the 2018 Oscars? One, it was far more diverse this year, but it had kind of a controversial Best Picture win. So, was it like a 2 steps forward, 1 step back kind of thing, or?
Yeah, for sure. I did enjoy it. I am also not a fan of the whole Green Book thing.
Yeah.
If they had named it anything but Green Book, it would have been fine.
Mm-hmm.
But they named it Green Book, and they invited all of this onto themselves. So they get all of the hate that they deserve for all of their wins. But Mahershala, he's a great actor. So
he's incredible. Did you watch season 3 of True Detective?
Not yet.
Oh, he's amazing.
But it's like everything he does, like even.
Exactly, yeah.
Because he was an Alita Battle Angel, and it was kind of a smaller part, which is crazy. He's a 2-time Oscar winner, but he shows up and he kicks ass.
Exactly, yeah. I love that he's not vain about any of that.
Yeah.
He takes on whatever role he needs to take on.
Well,
yeah.
True Detective,
we don't have actors like that anymore.
No.
True Detective, he kind of plays 3 characters. It's the same character, if that makes sense. I don't want to spoil you.
Well, because it's basically
3 timelines.
It's 3 different timelines. So you have like a young him, a 40-something him, and then him as a 75-year-old with dementia.
Okay.
And he because with family members with dementia, he nails it.
Yeah,
okay.
But
he nails it. I mean, it's just
it's really good.
Wow.
It's almost too
good. It's on my list.
Yeah, definitely a
never-ending list.
Well, in this streaming service world, and I think Jack and I were talking about our podcast last week, I think, but or the one that got released today, but it's there's so much stuff being produced right now.
So much. It's so hard to keep up now.
Yeah, how do you as somebody that
I don't
reviews
anymore.
TV, you just
What's crazy is that in the height of my blog, I would do this thing called TV Week in Review, and so every Saturday or Sunday, I'd write a small little review for every show that I watched.
Mm-hmm.
I could not do that anymore. I can't. No. It's impossible. I'm only one person. So, I mean, if I did that, this blog would be having to make mucho money for me to just be sitting back and watching TV all day.
And even then, would you want to? Would you want that to be your life? I don't know.
Right? No. Because now I'm in LA and I don't want to be sitting in the house all day. I want to go out and experience life because there's so much crazy stuff that happens. Last year, there was a Netflix pop-up. And they just had props from shows like Lost in Space and R.I.P. Jessica Jones, and all these Netflix shows. And that was just a pop-up for, I don't know, 2 days. So
wow.
if you're like not paying attention to what's happening around you, you can miss really cool stuff out here.
Yeah.
So that's another thing. I don't want to be sitting up. I mean, I've been doing that today. Today's my day off. So I did catch up on some TV. But I had to because Into the Badlands is coming back for its final episode. So I had to catch up.
We could add Lost in Space to the good reboots.
So good.
I was kind of meh.
I loved it.
Yeah. Maybe I need to go back and watch again. Maybe I was in a bad place when I watched it, but I didn't even make it through.
Again.
Really?
No, I think maybe the third episode, and I just stopped watching.
What? No.
No, it's excellent. It's excellent.
Yeah, I mean, Parker Posey's character kind of annoyed me a little bit, but other than that, it was fine.
Well, she was supposed to be annoying.
Yeah.
Because the original Dr. Smith is annoying. If you go back and watch the original, he's very annoying.
I just started watching Afterlife, the Ricky Gervais show.
Fantastic.
Which is like really
I've been on the fence about it, but everyone says it's good, so I don't know what I'm waiting for.
I feel like Ricky Gervais is either amazing with his shows or sometimes it's absolute garbage. Like the last David Brent thing he did was bad. But, the original Office and Extras was great. But this show is really good. It's a different dimension for him, for sure.
He plays a jerk like he normally does, but it's a jerk with heart.
Okay. It's basically his wife died of cancer, and
they were together 25 years.
Yeah, and it's him trying to figure out how to live afterwards, and he doesn't want to, but he has a dog to take care of.
That sounds good.
Yeah, it's like really deep stuff.
And they're short episodes, only like 26, 27 minutes.
Did you watch Russian Doll? Have you gotten to that one yet?
That was so good.
It's incredible.
Isn't it? Yeah, I cannot believe. I'm so glad it took her the time that it did to get this made.
Yeah, because it was like some crazy journey.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because I didn't. It was originally supposed to be like a sitcom or something. Like it wasn't a CBS pitch or something or NBC.
Oh God, I didn't hear that. I'm so glad it wasn't.
Yeah, it was supposed to be just like yeah. I think it was an NBC sitcom.
That would have been terrible.
Yeah,
it never would have made it.
No, it would have been god awful. But instead, it was just like very poignant, like story about the human condition and like life and death. And
when she's falling down the stairs, I'm literally laughing out loud over.
No, yeah,
it's so funny.
But it's so deep on so many levels.
Yeah, I feel like I need to rewatch it because I feel like I missed so much.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Like,
and there's going to be a second season, right?
Yeah, which I don't know how they're going to do that.
So excited.
I don't
have
know.
a theory, but I won't spoil anyone.
Okay.
No, let's spoil.
Let's hear. It's a theory. It's a theory. So it's not a spoiler.
The one guy I don't think was ever there.
What?
Interesting.
The one guy that was dying with her.
Oh, I'm blanking on his name.
He's on. He was on a TV show that your mom used
Do you think
to watch.
that was in her head?
I just don't think he was there.
But I feel like that because it was beautiful how they both like worked out their stuff, you know. And they helped each other, and I really thought that was.
Yeah, I'm not bummed.
I'd be bummed if he wasn't there, because that was like one of the main. So that's where it's like to me it was so perfect. It wrapped up so perfectly. That's tough to come back to a season 2. Like if I was her, I'd been like, I'm good. I'm out.
How do you get back from that?
I didn't find out until after I was done. I go, there's going to be another season. I don't know.
Yeah, that's hard. Like they could just continue it and it'd be nice, or they could kind of, you know how some shows reboot the whole show kind of each season.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't want that to happen for this, but they could kind of they could go anywhere. There's so many different ways they could take it.
Yeah, because they don't necessarily need to follow the same format of them dying over.
Well, they could do the early years.
Yeah,
because that whole story was pretty interesting too. Her mom and how her mom was. And her childhood.
Mm-hmm. A lot of different things they could do.
I was also thinking she just died as a child, and that was just all.
No.
I was.
All of your choices are bad. I don't like them.
Well, is it possible?
Sure, it's possible, but I don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
The whole glass thing. I'm just throwing it out there. So if you happen to see it next year.
Is that your crackpot theory of the week?
I'm sticking to it.
Then so be it. So you go to comic. Your dad was you said an artist?
Yeah. his name is Howard Simpson. He's very like old school about separating the art and the family. So I don't want to talk too much. You can go to find him, abadabba.com. But yeah, so that's his stuff. But yeah, he does comic book illustrations and he did some TV stuff, and then he did an uncredited intro for one of those TMNT movies like a few years ago.
Oh, cool.
And he's done some stuff. But
I guess my question is, growing up in, or did you grow up with comic book culture, or?
I did grow up with the culture, but with the comic culture, but it's weird because I always thought of it as like, oh, that's his thing. You know, like it's your parents' job.
Did he make it not cool? Did he make it not cool? I was like, oh, that's
I mean, I thought it was cool when he came in to, when the parents came in for school and showed everybody what they did.
Yeah.
And he would always draw on the board, and they would be like, ooh, and can you draw this? That's when I thought he was cool.
Okay.
But after that, I was like, whatever.
That's just my dad.
Well, because if it's one of those things where it's not your parent, but as a kid where it's not your parents, like, oh, that's so cool, your dad does that.
Yeah.
But if it's you kind of make the point where it's like, if as a kid, it's like, it's my dad's like, it's not my thing.
Yeah,
he's a dork.
Yes, like he's a comic book nerd. What a nerd.
So yeah, it was pretty nice to grow up going to, like, I went to cons, not just like San Diego Comic-Con, but the ones in not gym locker rooms, in gymnasiums and cafeterias, the local ones, like all around Pennsylvania and the tri-state area. And that's what I'm like used to. Like that was what we did. And you get your snacks for the day and grab your little whatever you're going to do. And if I wanted to collect Pez or have 1 year, have every artist in Artist Alley draw this particular character and compare them all when I got home. Like,
that's cool.
That's just what I really wish I saved that stuff. But at the time, you just don't care because you're just so used to it.
Yeah. What did he think about you becoming a writer, being in that kind of business? Did he discourage you, or just say?
Oh, quite the opposite. My dad, he does comic book stuff, and then my mom sings. She's like a Christian singer. But that's just, she has like a day job and everything, but she also sings.
Yeah.
So from a very young age, I just knew like whatever I wanted to do was possible. Like I didn't,
cool.
Okay. You can do that. Well, then I can do this. Yeah. So, I didn't have that, pressure on myself really. Yeah, I always just thought that, oh, well, this is easy. And I mean, I don't want to say too easy, but I just knew it was possible.
Yeah, no, that's cool. That's really cool. Because my dad owned a mailbox with Cedra, so it just wasn't as...
And I said, you never want to own your own business. It's terrible. And for the most part, I'm right.
But what I don't know, from my mind, I think you have this perspective, or maybe you've seen this dynamic shift of like comic book culture, or just like maybe just nerd culture in general being this subculture, and now it's
popular.
It is popular culture. It is at the forefront of popular culture. Like, what's your perspective? Like, Marvel movies are the biggest movies in the world, and if I go back to me as a kid, like I would never fathom this.
My dad always said that it would happen, but I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. Like, yeah, okay.
All right, okay.
Sure, I'm sure that'll happen. Cool.
Sure.
You think Star Wars has opened it up?
I'm sorry?
Do you think like a movie like Star Wars? Because I was a kid, I was 14 when Star Wars came out, and it wasn't cool to be like a sci-fi geek or something like that.
Oh.
But even you had to hide it.
Well, but even post that, like even something happened, and I don't know if it's just because like Marvel Studios got it right with Iron Man, but I don't. There was some shift late 90s,
I feel like
2000s
Iron Man changed the game for sure. But well, when you say that it wasn't, I remember not the old ones, but obviously I remember going to this Natalie Portman ones in the theater, like day of. And then whenever we wanted, well, not we, whenever my dad wanted to go again, we just went. Like, it was an event. Like, it was a family thing for not just Star Wars, but all of the big sci-fi. Like, I grew up on sci-fi and fantasy. I leaned toward sci-fi myself, but that was part of the family bonding. This is coming out. We're going to go see it.
Yeah.
So, in that regard, I did see the change in Iron Man though. But it has been odd because some things that have always been in the background in my mind are people are hardcore fans of now. I'm like, that's interesting. I don't remember anybody talking about this before.
Yeah. Guardians of the Galaxy? What?
Like, who?
How is that a thing? Or even even Captain Marvel, like that wasn't a big thing. Or Black Panther nominated for the Best Picture, like a comic book movie.
Never ever would have thought that would have happened. That's such an incredible, groundbreaking, amazing, one of the best things that I'm glad to have seen happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I think it also helps for those type of movies. The older voters are dying off. Not that that's not a good thing, but the older voters would go, "There's no way I'm voting for a sci-fi or a comic book movie for Best Picture." But now you have the generation that, like I said, that since the '90s have grown up with that. So now, those voters appreciate, like Star Wars would never have gotten Best Picture.
Yeah.
Even though
no way.
When that movie came out, I've said 1,000 times, I'd never seen anything like it. It was the kind of movie it was the first movie you ever wanted to go see again.
Yeah.
And again and again. And the special effects were just so amazing that it was just so, like, my generation is finally getting to the point where they're voting.
Well, but they also, I think, with the Oscars, they increase diversity too in the voters and the members.
And that's something that too. Even I'm still every day seeing for myself, because growing up, my parents would always give me books and comic books or whatever with diversity all throughout. Sometimes even diversity on the cover, and they would say, "Melody, this wasn't hard. This wasn't easy to get. Like, this is rare." But they're giving me these books every other week. And I'm like, you're telling me this is rare, but here you are with yet another book filled with diverse characters that I can see myself in. So it wasn't until I got older that I realized really how rare that is. They really worked hard to get those books for me. And so to see other people, I didn't realize how rare that was, that other people don't get to see themselves. And it does feel kind of insular. Like when you do go to these cons, my dad hang out with this. It was like the same Black comics every year. The group didn't grow. So putting those pieces together now, I'm like, oh, that makes sense now. So to now see more diversity in not just movies and TV, but just in general in books. And books, we need diverse books as a whole movement that is really shifting the game. And we're seeing that on the New York Times bestseller list, with now majority of those people in YA, they're diverse. That wasn't the case like five years ago. That wasn't the case.
Yeah.
So it's changing in all mediums, and I'm all for it because I want to see my name.
Well, you're
there.
A part of it, yeah. I mean, you're part of that too, which is awesome, which is great, and pushing things forward. Also, hopefully through this podcast, you already know, but I'm like, you have the most amazing parents ever. So kudos to your parents too.
I'm in the room.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, I didn't want this to be awkward, but can I train my parents, please?
It can be done.
Well, also, I just want to do like a rapid fire shout out to my critique partners, because I have a really great, awesome, diverse group of partner writer friends who are just always there for me. Like, we're reading each other's work and telling them what works, what doesn't, and that really helps us.
Oh, yeah.
As well. So I kind of just want to run down for
Please.
a second. So
Shout
it's a critique group of well, there's 19 of us, which is large, and it's not like a thing, but
you can name 14 of them.
Go for it.
We don't have time for 19.
So like 14 of us are agented. 10 of us have like novels coming out or already out. And 6 of us have worked in the industry. So for the ones who do have books out or coming out, Amanda Foodie, her book is Ace of Shades, Axio, Rebel Soul, Tara Sim, Timekeeper Trilogy, the whole trilogy is out now. Christine Lynn Herman, The Devouring Grey, her book comes out in April. Joan He, Descendant of the Crane, April as well. Kat Cho, Wicked Box, June. Katie Poole, There Will Come a Darkness, that comes out in September. And then 3 of them come out in next year, 2020. Claribel Ortega with Ghost Squad, Janella Angelis with Where Dreams Descend, and Mara Fitzgerald with The Walls in the Ruby Sky.
Awesome.
Nice.
Well, and as we're kind of coming up to our end here, I wanted to make sure everybody knew where they could follow you or find you, and when more of your work comes out, where they can get it. So you gave shout outs to your friends. Now it's time to shout out yourself. Where can people find you and follow you?
So I'm on Twitter at Melody Simpson, and that's where I'm mainly at.
Okay.
I'm gonna revive
no Instas
my
yet?
Instagram a little bit.
Okay.
That is Melly Simps, MELLIE SIMPS. That's Instagram. And then my website is Hollywood the Right Way, but right is spelled WRITE.
Yes, like right.
Yeah, because I'm a writer, guys.
Exactly. I love the pun. It's not a pun. That's not really a pun, is it? It's like a...
No, it's a statement, right?
It is a statement.
Yes,
but you would think it's Hollywood the right way, but no, it's the right way. Which works.
Yeah, the blog has been a little bit abandoned the past 2 months because I've been writing, but I am going to get back to it. So, yeah.
Well, plus it's the winter months are kind of slow website months anyway. So
a nice little hiatus I get to claim.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no hiatus with Netflix.
Oh my gosh,
something new every day.
Every day.
They do every day.
It's ridiculous.
It's like stop.
Well, Melody, thank you so much for taking time to talk with us. It's really great to hear your story. It's inspiring to hear your story, and I appreciate you taking time to talk with us.
Thank you so much. I feel like I talked way too fast, and
no, I thought
very
I probably
interesting
catch my breath because I'm just so excited. I'm so excited. So thank you guys so much for having me.
If the writing thing doesn't work out, I think you're a natural podcaster. I think it could be.
I did actually have a really short-lived Glee podcast in 2009.
Oh, perfect.
But then
Glee got bad.
Yeah, it got bad. We're like, we don't have time for this.
Yeah, it got really bad.
Well, we'll make sure to add you to that Comic-Con group. I think you'd get a kick out of that, and hopefully
cool.
we'll see you around there. But anywho, Melody, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
You too. Bye.
Bye. Okay, so we're kind of in between recording, and Jack started telling me he got a ghost on camera.
If you've listened to the podcast long enough, you know that our house is haunted.
Uh-huh.
I know it's haunted is the key. We share a house with some afterlife people.
Uh-huh. So ghosts. Just call them ghosts.
Well, the ghosts. I mean, whatever people want to call them.
What else do people call them? They're ghosts.
Everyone's seen them but you.
Because they're not real.
Well, they avoided your room. But I've seen them. The time Tyler, my son-in-law, your brother-in-law, when he came walking to the kitchen, he goes, wait, who was just walking upstairs? I go, well, it wasn't me. I'm down here. So he saw it.
Uh-huh.
So anyway,
you didn't see it. He just heard some noise. It could have been a cat. You have 72 animals in your house.
We have one cat.
Now
he saw someone walking up the stairs. So anyway, we have a camera in the front. We have one of those Nest cameras. Is it Nest camera?
Nest camera, yeah.
So you can see people stealing your packages.
Yeah,
nothing happens to them. But what they called porch pirates, right?
Yeah.
They can just steal at will, and nothing happens to them because they just don't have time to.
Yeah, small crimes, petty crimes.
Anyways, so we got a camera in the back, and we see there's like raccoons, and you see different things. But as of now, there's nothing next. There's like 3.5 acres of just trees and stuff, but it's going to be torn apart. There'll be houses there soon.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting in bed the other night. I'm watching this show, this on Netflix show called Rebellion.
You kind of talked about it on last week's episode.
Yeah, I watched the first episode is really boring, and the second episode, once that it starts picking up, and it's the next 9 episodes are excellent. It's 2 different. I think it's called Rebellion, and the other one's called whatever it is.
You said last week Rebellion, so that's got to be the name.
Yeah, so it's got another name for the second part. It's 5 episodes each season.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, I'm sitting there and my phone goes off.
So
I look at it. I go, something in the backyard. I go, what the heck is that? It's like a bright light. It's like a jagged light. And I'm like going, huh? Because usually you see things in the front yard, you can figure it out because you just do. But this one I could. There's no reason for this light to be. We have the deck. You know where the deck's at. You know the backyard behind it.
Yeah.
When it's fenced off.
Sure.
There was something there. So I got, how you enlarge it?
Yeah.
So I enlarge it. It's like a dust thing. And you can see a nose, a face, ears, everything.
Baloney.
I swear to God.
Okay,
I swear to
you're
God.
telling me you have the first video evidence of a ghost and you don't save the video?
Well, I didn't know how to do it. So I didn't know how to do screensaver.
You mean screen grab.
Is that what it's called?
Screen grab, yes.
So I didn't know how to do a screen grab. I do now.
Well, now you can do it.
But I'm trying to save it. Your mom's sleeping. I go, do I wake her up?
You had the first video, and you're telling me you didn't wake up your wife that I have a ghost on tape.
Yeah, like that's worth it. Waking her up. So, but no, in our front yard.
You have something all those stupid ghost hunter shows say they have for decades, and they haven't been able to
I
do.
had it. And so, but I assumed our back porch, our backyard camera was the same as the front. Where the front, it saves it for 5 days. So I'm trying to save it. I go, and I was trying to get it on my computer, but they kept going. Needed a passcode from my wife's phone. I go, I don't feel like getting up. It'll be saved. I'll look at it tomorrow. And I wake up the next day. I go, wait, it's not there. What? So. It's gone forever, but it was there. It was. Sure. I swear to God, it was just so. It was like, oh my God! I finally have evidence because I've seen things walking around the house. You're just a non-believer.
Because come on.
Do you believe in ghosts?
Not like that.
But you do believe in ghosts?
I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm not 100% sold.
I'm
not 100% sold on ghosts.
This would have been.
Because, okay, this is my problem with ghosts is, like, okay, so you die and then you just float around for the rest of existence? That's horrible.
Well, you saw Lost.
Okay.
Well, Michael, he was the whisperer.
So he's just stuck on an island for the rest of existence?
Yeah, and he deserves it. So.
Nobody deserves that. That's awful.
I don't know. I don't know what they did.
See, it just doesn't... Ghosts don't make sense to me.
Like I said, I was always on the fence until we moved here. And I had that rumble with one. Remember, I had the fight. You woke up, right?
Yeah, because you were having, not because of ghosts.
I was fighting something.
Yeah, you were fighting your own demons. I don't know.
But I've seen them. I've just grown to accept them. I don't freak out. It doesn't freak me out. I just kind of. As long as they're doing their thing, leave me alone. I have no problem.
Sure. Okay.
But it's too bad we didn't have Tad, because Tad's really.
I know. That's one of the things you bond over is talking about those.
If I only, it's just so. Every day I go.
I just come on. You'd be the first person in the history of the world to have video footage of a ghost.
But the weird part is. There's no explanation for what that light was.
It was probably a bug that got too close. And it was like a lens flare, like a J.J. Abrams lens flare.
No, it wasn't a bug. It wasn't. It was in the backyard.
Yeah, you tell me there's not a bug in your backyard? A moth?
That
and
big
the flutter
a moth.
of the wings looked powdery, like a ghost.
It was like 6 feet long.
Because it's close to the camera. It's forced perspective.
No.
Meh.
No. Because the camera is so good it picks up like when the front picks up like a frog or a moth, it picks up the moth.
It's quick though, it's so quick.
Okay. What was that with the camera? The backyard.
I don't know. It's not saved, so it didn't happen.
Like I said, your mom every day goes, "Did your ghost come back?" I go, "No." I go, "I know no one's going to believe me, but it was there. It was weird. It was because there's like a bright light in the front yard. There's cars and stuff like that.
Yeah.
This area in the back, there's nothing back there. There's no reason for a light to be back there. None. Zero. Zilch.
Sure.
And when I said I widened it out, you could clearly see a face of somebody.
Sure.
You can be a non-believer. I don't care.
Hey, listen, I do worry about if there's really ghosts because, I'm surprised they haven't killed you yet. But
but I'm their friend. Why would they kill me?
I don't know. What do ghosts do? Like, okay, so they just got to sit around and watch you all day? That's horrible.
Well, no, I'm not paying attention to them.
What human deserves that existence?
No, I guess not. But it just, I don't know. We'll see. But it was outside. That's the first. I'm used to them in the house, but outside. We'll see. And it'll never happen again. I'll never get that shot again.
Of course you won't, because it didn't happen.
It did happen. I swear to God, it was on my camera.
Well, you know that you can pay for the service and they'll retroactively give you the footage, right?
What do you mean?
It's stored. Like Google will keep all that stuff.
We have it. We paid, and it only goes back to 9 a.m.
Oh, like
10
and it
minutes
happened
after
it happened
at 1 a.m. But furthest we can go back is 9 a.m. It won't.
Listen, this is what you need to do.
Because I tried. It says camera was not on. I go, yes, it was.
Oh, so the camera wasn't even on. Okay, so this was probably some fever dream you had.
No. It says the camera's not on because it doesn't go back that far.
You had too much rum and coke, and it was just
Nope, wasn't drinking at all. Nope. No Mentos, no nothing. I know that was your next comment.
No, I was
nothing. I've been Mento free for some time.
Okay, no judging here.
You're judging.
No, judging. I'm not.
No,
I believe you. I do. For a second, Jack is arms crossed.
I don't care. I believe me, and that's all that matters.
There you go. That is all that matters. All right, Jack, I think it's time to close out the show. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Give us a call at 385-309-0311.
Calling time.
Once again, it's 385-309-0311. Calling time for questions, comments, and or theories. Send an email to janejack at
gmail.com.
Once again, it's janejack at
gmail.com.
And we haven't had a listener feedback episode in this block, but would like to get one at some point. So please, anything going on in your life, anything interesting, anything you want to ask us, feel free to give us a call or email. Yeah, let us know where you side on the ghost debate. Is Jack just full of it? Is he seeing things?
I'm not seeing things. It was there.
All right. We'll see. We'll love to hear what our listeners have to say about it. So, definitely give us a call or send an email. I want to thank people that make this show possible, our patrons, especially Tack from Tokyo, Eckhart Richter, Maggie the Magnificent, Joanne with the Plan, the Drake, and Ed the Creepy Mailman. And thank you to all of our patrons. And again, for those that give $5 a month, you get all of our bonus episodes. You can hear who Jack thinks is the best podcaster on our network, Zach Gladfelter.
Yeah, without question.
So would you, if you guys did a show, it would be Zach and Jack, Jack and Zach?
Well, whatever you wanted to call it.
Sure.
I'd give him if he still wants to go with Bun Patty Bun, because that's what he seems to like, then he's that he can do what he wants.
Well, I think he's been around you long enough that he likes making fun of you, or you like making fun of him. So it's you two are made for each other.
That's true. I do like to tease.
But anywho, you can find a full list of our patrons over on janejack.com. It's patreon.com/janejack to become a patron today. This show is hosted by Jack Gladfelter, artwork by Jacob Parr, Website designed by Rob Franceschini. Web authoring and publishing by Colleen, and music and production and co-hosting by me, Jay Gladfelter.
Who's probably the lowest of the talent.
Least, yeah.
I would think so.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think who you'd be above. Maybe the other guy? I don't know.
Yeah, I guess so. Maybe.
Yeah.
A lot of shows out right now. Survivor with Jay, Jack, and Colleen, The Jay and Jack Show, Ramblecast After Dark, The Broadcast, and in April, Game of Thrones with Jay, Jack, and Nick returns for one last season.
Are we doing the spinoff?
I'm not committing to it. Maybe you and Nick can continue.
As long as I don't have to figure out the names. That's all I care about.
Oh, man. All right, well, that will do it for this week's show. Until next time, hasta luego and goodbye.
Bye.